Today's video is from the second round of the group stages in the Swedish Tennis League. The format is there's 5 teams in 2 different groups, so a total of 10 teams. And from each group, the 2 winners of the group, or the 2 highest placed teams in the group, are going to move on to the playoffs, where my club, Lidingo Tennis Club, take on Malarhojden Tennis Club. My opponent for the day was amongst the top-ranked college players throughout his college career, and then after that he played on the pro circuit a couple of years, and I think he gathered 4 professional titles and got to a career high of 540. So yeah, he's a very experienced player, and it's sure going to be a tough match. So before my match kicks off, we have a little team warm-up first. This is actually our first home match of the season, which is a lot of fun, and we're all really excited. Our whole club really puts on an event, so many sponsor booths and different things, and it was just a lot of fun around it. To kick off the match, I made a lot of first serves in the service game, and I think this is Gustav's first singles match in a while, so he probably was a little rusty and made a few unforced there to just kick off the match. But Gustav's, for sure, one of his best abilities is changing up the pace, and he's so good at just changing up the pace and moving around, and he's always very balanced moving around the court, and he's so good at always figuring out a way to get the ball back just enough so you can't really keep hurting him. And that's where I really need to focus on trying to be aggressive, but you can't go crazy on him because you still got to stay inside your limits and not try to overhit. So here I'm doing a really good job at this point, moving him around, but you see how well he keeps putting the ball back, making me come up with another shot. But yeah, I do a really good job there of putting the ball away. But as I mentioned, he's so good at switching up the pace. He maybe starts off the match a little passive here, and but I think it's a combination of me also doing a very good job aggressive here, really taking control of the point right from the start. Yeah, I have a very clear game plan here, just trying to be aggressive but still really making sure to be patient and wait for the right ball. And as soon as I get the right ball, I really gotta commit to hitting it and then coming forward as much as I could. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky serve because he has so much rotation, so it's a little hard to read it. And once he gets aggressive, he's very good at using the angles and playing the ball a lot faster than you actually think. You can really see here how well he puts that cross court away. He really opens up the court with a lot of very clever angles there. Yeah, I had a very good start to this game though. I was up 15-40, and then he saved the first break points there previously. And now we're at 30-40. I have another break point. Did a really good job there of moving him around and then really managing to clock that forehand in order to break to 3-1 in the first set. So here at 3-1, I don't really know what it was, but you can see him here kind of changing up the pace a little bit with those high balls. And I don't know if it was that kind of threw me off a little bit, but ended up having a couple more unforced here where I was maybe started to overhit a little bit, or I don't know, just started to mistime it, and I ended up getting broken right back actually. So here Gustav started off the game really well with 2 aces, and yeah, I really felt like he was starting to find his groove a little bit more. He was starting to find a tempo, and I really felt like he kind of upped the tempo a little bit there. And yeah, he started to move a little better around the corners and maybe put the ball back with a little more pace. So even though I was hitting him, I felt like I wasn't really getting as many shorter balls as I had been before. Maybe he was starting to counter punch me a little bit better. Yeah, it started to get a lot tougher actually. I felt like these couple games compared to the previous ones. So I can really see him being a little more aggressive with all his shots there, taking that forehand really nice and early. And yeah, really solid service game by him there to get it back to 3-all. It's obviously a very important service game by me here to really stay in front. I felt like he was starting to get the momentum with him a little bit there, but I do a very good job there of staying aggressive, making a lot of first serves, and make sure to come forward whenever the opportunity presents itself. A really good rally there when I managed to stay composed and stay with it. You see how well balanced he is, and he looks so calm on the court, and it's very easy to maybe overhit or try to do something crazy because it seems like nothing gets him stressed up. And I feel like that's really one of his biggest strengths on the tennis court. the fact that he's so calm around the court. So I remember here I actually kind of changed up my tactic a little bit, committing to whenever I got pressured to maybe try to hit the ball towards the middle a little bit more, because I felt like he was so good. Even though I counterpunched, if I gave him the angle, he was so good at just finding the angle back. So I maybe try to hit a few more balls towards the middle and then look for balls to come in, and yeah, do a very good job here. Really good serving by him and a good counterpunch by me. Sets it up for a nice forehand there. Yeah, somehow we managed to scrape that one out, and we're set up with another break point here at 4-3 in the first set. And unfortunately, we kind of messed it up. We managed to guess right on that approach shot after a good serve by him, but then unfortunately, I feel like we had two good opportunities there to pass him or do something better, but didn't really do enough there, and yeah. So we get a little lucky with maybe with the neck cord to give us a little easier back in there to set up for another break point. And a really good and deep return there, and I like the way that I move into that forehand, really taking time away, and you can see him there kind of standing on his heels, and with that we break to 5-3 in the first set. But once again, like, you can really see how well he is at just moving the ball around and looking so calm on the court. Even though I feel like I maybe hit a good counter punch or something like that, he's just so calm, and with that, I don't know if that stressed me out, but I ended up doing probably 3 unforced errors that game, and he broke me right back again to 5-4 in the first. So really good job by me there, stepping into that forehand after a great return down deep. So obviously trying to put a lot of pressure on him, but I don't know, he's been very calm so far, and as I mentioned, I really feel like he's been like grooving his way into this match. But he lost a little length on a couple balls there, and that gives us the opportunity to kind of pounce on it and get away with a couple winners there. Really huge backhand by him there. To get it back, it was a 15-30, so now we're at 30 all, so obviously that was a huge point in order to keep it leveled here at 5-4. And we just managed to pass him to set up for a set point. You see how well he counterpunched when I came forward, but fortunately he comes up with a good serve there to get it back to deuce. So what actually happens here, I haven't mentioned it, but we're actually playing with kind of like a play-replay system. It's very similar to challenges you have on the circuit. So this was a very close call, and I actually ended up like going to the referee to challenge it, and he checked up on the system, and it actually showed that the ball was out. So it set me up for another set point here, and we'll see what we can do with it. So we kick it off with a good deep return there, but it manages to put it down heavy on me, and like you see here, I'm really trying to hit the ball towards the middle. Obviously, I would probably prefer to hit the ball with a little better depth, so he can keep stepping into me here. But it comes forward, and I kind of see him sneaking forward, and I just managed to kind of angle up my slice a little bit more, and I get it past him to take the first set, 6-4. So to kick off the second set, I had a really good start with a couple of really good serves and even a pancake serve there to get the first game 1-0. And I'm actually not 100% sure what started happening here, but I do remember I kind of just started to lose the timing a little bit. I was not too happy with missing that forehand. But yeah, I don't know what, but I started to kind of like miss time balls a little bit, so I was very happy with the fact that I stepped into this forehand and hit it well. I don't know if it was him maybe like upping the pace a little bit again, or maybe it was me getting a little tentative. But yeah, I started to miss time some balls, and I just started to miss them, and all of a sudden we're 1-0 under pressure. But I do actually think that he must have upped his pace here a little bit on a couple of shots. Maybe he was getting a little more fatigued. A little frustration in that forehand. But I think because he was getting a little more fatigued, maybe he was going a little more for those returns. Good job by me staying down there, staying calm when the ball comes at me that fast, and we get to hold it to 2-1. We see him serving volleying for the first time here. But I just managed to miss that backhand, and I was not happy with that. I really felt like I had a really good opportunity at the start of this second set to kind of like put him away earlier, but through a couple of unforced, I still kept him in the match and put myself under more pressure than I maybe felt like I should have. But then I must admit, I don't know, something kind of changed back to me throughout this point. I don't know, I just started to find the groove again, and I'm really happy with how I finished off this point. I felt like I hit it with a lot of confidence, and I have to admit, after that one, it was like something changed. Maybe it was the momentum or something really changed, and I felt like I kind of found back my groove and got a little calmer on the court. So even though he was pressuring me around, I just really, I don't know, found my rhythm and came up with some good shots. But yeah, from here in the match, I really felt like he started to go for shots that he probably usually don't go for. Probably was because he was getting a little more fatigued, or maybe he felt like I was staying a little too solid. At least I felt like I was very solid at this point, and as I mentioned, like I felt like I found back my groove again, and yeah, I just started to feel very comfortable on the court, no matter how the points felt, and yeah, especially you can see there maybe got a little wild with that forehand, and yeah, I really felt like I got back control of the match, and you see him really going for these shots, but I do a really good job of staying in it, and with a great lob, I managed to break him again to 4-2 in the second. Yeah, you can really see him here just like stepping on those returns a lot more than he probably was doing the first set. And I think that is kind of like a result of him maybe getting a little more tired or something, but you really felt like he was starting to rush the points a lot more. Even though he clocked some points or clocked some balls here and there, I felt like I was, I don't know, just starting to get control of the match, and it was going to be hard for him to maintain that level of shots that he was probably going for here. So I think it's like a combination, you know, when you feel that your opponent starts to rush, especially against a player like this that is so calm on the court. It does give you a lot of confidence when you notice such a calm player becoming pretty rushed on the court. So you see me here just really trying to scrape around and get every ball back, but he does a really good job there at the net, hitting a very nice volley to finish it off. Yeah, I just felt like it was very important for me to stick around, and as I mentioned, you see him like really going for those shots that are maybe like statistically the best shot selection, but I really wanted to stay with him and just show him that in order to win a point, he would have to come up with something very big and just kind of put that pressure on him over and over again. And yeah, just really staying with him as much as I could. But I managed to get the hold there to 6-3, and it was up to me now to try and serve out the match. We see him there again, just kind of rushing for it a little bit, and with a couple of good serves, it sets me up for a match point, which I managed to seal with an ace, and with that, I do a very solid service game to get the match 6-4, 6-3. So right after the match is finished, we headed straight to our recovery club, where I first off had to take off some tape I had for my ankle. I think I twisted my ankle a little bit a couple of days before, and I just wanted to put on a little extra support. Tip for you guys, if you're ever going to tape your ankle, make sure to shave your foot before, otherwise it's going to be extra painful when you take off the tape. But yeah, once I got all the tape off, we headed into the ice bath, and you see Johannes here in the hot tub, just getting a little recovery session in. As I mentioned before, we're on a very hectic schedule here. We have the next match again tomorrow against STL TK, which is going to be a tough one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm really happy with the win, and with my win, we ended up drawing against Malarhojden, so it became 2-2. So we're currently like in our group stages. It's a very tight group right now, and we're trying everything we can to hopefully make the playoffs, which only the top 2 teams make. So make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to put on that notification so you don't miss out on the next video where I take on a former top 300 player, which is a very tricky match, and I'll see you guys then.